We have a new moon in Taurus this week, and the message from the moon is really, truly claim big goals. Stop playing around and claim what is yours. All right? I'm Laura Kusto, the moon phase astrologer, and this is the moon method. Each week, I share the moon's message and I tell you how to use it so you can confidently slow down, find your focus, and claim your power. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you do that so you never miss your weekly message from the moon. All right, this is the week of Friday, April 25th through May 2nd, 2025. And the moon phase for this week, again, it's a new moon. It's the start of a new cycle, and it's the time to set new goals and put new things into motion. This one is happening in Taurus. It's at about 7 degrees. It's happening on April 27th, Sunday, at about 1:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Now, if you are considering some long-term plans here, I want you to keep these dates in mind if you want to do some planning ahead. So, in addition to this new moon, where you'll be setting your new goals and your new intentions, you want to keep in mind the first quarter, which is when you're going to take committed action towards these goals. And that date will be January 25th, 2026. It is 9 months ahead. These phases work like that. And then if you're planning something really big, a culmination point, a launch, maybe you want to have a baby, get married, that date that you're targeting for that full moon is October 25th, 2026. Now, if you want to know more about how to work with the energies of the new moon in a really specific way, where it works, I want you to grab your free moon phase compass. This is a guide that I put together, and in it I share the 3 simple steps to work with each moon phase in a way that works. These are the steps that I personally use every moon phase myself. And trust me, they work. I've been using them for years. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. All right. Now let's dig into the energies around this new moon and why the message really is about claiming those big goals and claiming what is yours, okay? So Friday the 25th, we are in the energy of this new moon. Saturday the 26th is when things really start to heat up. On the 26th, we have Mars moving into an opposition with Pluto, meaning they are directly opposite each other in the sky on the 26th. Now, these two planets have been doing this opposition dance for a little while here. There's some dates that I want to have you look back to for clues. Mars and Pluto, it's a very powerful energy, and Mars being one of the personal planets, everybody has probably felt this in some way, shape, or form, okay? So the dates I want you to look back to, November 3rd, 2024 was the first time this opposition occurred, right before the presidential election in the US. January 3rd, 2025 was the second time, and this was when Mars was retrograde, so it was moving backwards in the sky relative to us here on Earth. And then this is the final pass, and we won't have another pass like this for probably a couple more years until Mars moves into this position again. So April 26th is the final pass. So as you look at those dates, November 3rd and January 3rd, and then you see what's coming around April 26th, is there a pattern? Are there things that have been happening and they kind of keep resurfacing? So if you look back at those first 2 dates, that might start to give you some clues as to what to look for. But this energy, Mars opposed Pluto, the way I would summarize it is I want what I want and I want it now. It's Mars, planet of assertion and aggression and getting things done, making things happen. And it's opposing Pluto, the planet that really is about power and control. And it's also represents what's deep and hidden in the shadows. Again, which if you think about that, that could be used in terms of power. And so there can be a lot of passion involved with this opposition. This energy is just really potent coming into the new moon. Now, the lesson I would say here with the Mars and Pluto opposition is to try to stay open-minded. It can be really hard in this energy to do that. Especially if it involves unearthing truth, related to Pluto, looking into the shadows, what's hidden, what's a little uncomfortable. Mars is just really impatient. But if you can find some patience, lean into that. Try to stay open, try to stay patient, and see what will be revealed, see what will come up in conversation. There's really meant to be some sort of a lesson here, something to be unearthed. and really energy to use. And perhaps this will give you some clarity going into the new moon in terms of what you need to claim. And again, that's why I use that word claim what's yours, because this Mars Pluto really, it does come down to there's a lot of power themes with it. And in the last few months with our moon phases, and all the astrology in general, there's been a lot of shedding and releasing. There's been a ton of energy in Pisces, and we're really moving out of that now. With Mercury's moved out of Pisces, Venus is moving out of Pisces, and Neptune has moved out of Pisces, and then we'll see Saturn also leave Pisces. Those two smaller planets, Mercury and Venus, they move pretty quickly. They were going to move out, they go through Pisces every year. But Saturn and Neptune, they stay in signs for years at a time. And so we've had all of this very Piscean energy focus, and it's really shifting out into Aries. And so it is moving from this more group, collective focused. Pisces is very flowing, and it's also sort of overflowing. And now Aries is very me focused. It's focused on the self, right? So it's great energy to be going into this new moon with on Sunday, the 27th. So that Mars Pluto opposition is still going to be active as we come into that new moon around 1:30 in the afternoon, Mountain Standard Time again. This new moon, what's interesting about it and that Mars Pluto opposition is at exactly a 90-degree angle to this new moon. So it's making what's called a T-square. So Mars Pluto opposed has this sort of, it's a push-pull, like I want to win, no, I want to win. And then you've got the new moon sitting there right at the apex, kind of, if you almost draw like a square, right? And that creates this tension, and it's moon and sun together. Moon is your emotional world and really what you feel you need to do to be comfortable. And the sun is yourself. And so these two coming together, it's why we dream. The moon goes dark, we can't see it. It's time to set new goals, new intentions. And then yes, there's this element of power, and it's this last pass of Mars and Pluto too. So it's like, okay, claim it. What's yours? What do you want? Okay. And the other thing is that this new moon is in Taurus. Taurus is a fixed sign, meaning it falls right in the middle of a season. It's in the middle of spring. Well, Mars is in Leo and Pluto is in Aquarius. Leo is the middle of summer and Aquarius is the middle of winter. So those are also fixed signs. So there's a lot of solidity with this. And so the intentions that you make, if you are certain about them, if you write them with certainty, and again, if you download that moon phase compass, we talk about how to properly write intentions. We're setting goals here, but we're doing it in the form of intentions, which are different because there's an energetic signature to it. And in that vein, we don't want to just write them down as if they've happened and do the writing correctly as you would write an intention. You physically want to feel the energy. You want to feel what it will feel like to have these things come into your life. So if you do this really, really well on this new moon, it's really powerful. I would say it's more powerful than on other new moons. The energy here is just very stable, is what I would call it. So Taurus, again, it's earth energy. It's very focused on resources and things, tangible things. Now, for every single person, this will be falling in a specific area of life in your chart. There's 12 different areas. And so you can set an intention just in general, of course. And again, the compass will help you do that. But if you want to know which area of life is being activated for you, so you can zero in and know which area is being supported most, that's where Moon Chat comes in. It is my membership where members receive personal guidance and inbox alerts so they know exactly which area of life to focus. And you can join anytime. I'll drop another link for that one in the show notes as well. Okay, so that is that energy right around the new moon. And I want you to lean into that dreaming and thinking, but we're not going to put pen to paper. You want to put pen to paper just a couple days later after the moon starts to become physical. So you actually put physical pen to paper when the moon starts to become visible in the sky again. And I think the perfect day to do that is Wednesday, the 30th. because that's when Venus enters Aries again. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the journey that Venus has made here. So in the last couple of months, it has moved from Pisces into Aries, and then it retrograded. It went back into Pisces, and now it's moving back into Aries because it's moved direct again. So it's been on this back and forth journey. And as it's been doing that, it has been dancing with Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, and the nodes, and we've had the eclipses going on. So Venus has kind of been put through the ringer here. Now, it is the planet that represents what we take pleasure in. It's love and our values. It's also relationships to the feminine and relationships with women. And, again, it's been going back and forth. So we've been called to look at these themes in our life, to look at where they're working for us and where they're not, mostly, I would say, more so where they're not, and where we need to perhaps tweak them or fix them. And as it's been doing these dances with these other planets, especially Neptune and Saturn and the nodes, it's been leaning into what's responsible, Saturn. What do I really want? Neptune, dreaminess. And the nodes, what's in my highest good? And then we've had, again, the eclipses, which have had these big sudden revelations and breakthroughs. And so, especially when it comes to these themes of love and pleasure, and, Venus is also the ruler of Taurus. So Venus is the ruler of this new moon. And so, again, I see with Venus moving into Aries on Wednesday, not only is the moon now starting to become physical, so it's your time to put pen to paper, but Venus is now moving from a focus of the Piscean focus, which is, again, a little bit more collective. Pisces can outsource its power a bit to others. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. And now don't get me wrong, Venus is actually exalted in Pisces. It loves being in Pisces. It loves that flowy, collaborative ease of Pisces. It doesn't love Aries. But in Aries, Venus now becomes compelled to be responsible for itself, to think about the self. And so as you're thinking about what you want and what goals you have, this is really great energy for you to work with the new moon. And so, again, we've had so much opportunity to review all these things with this Venus retrograde. And now here on this new moon, in the sign that Venus rules, I just think the timing is absolutely perfect there. So zero in, focus on your wants, what you need, not just to survive, but also to thrive. Okay. So that's the excitement there with this new moon. And that's why that message is, again, claim your focus. Okay. It's yours. It's yours for the taking. And the alignment of the different planets is really out there supporting you to truly lean into what feels good for you, to claim your power, to claim what you love, and find that energy. And as you're writing out those intentions, to really feel it and feel what it just actually be like to have that happen in your life. And that energetic signal that you are then sending out to the universe, so powerful for these new goals to eventually manifest. It's great. All right. So I hope that's been helpful. Thank you so much for being here. And if you enjoyed this, please leave a review or drop a thumbs up, depending on where you are listening. And also, if you enjoyed this and it was helpful for you and you think someone else would benefit, please share this with them. All right. Until next week, take care.